Hey everyone, I'm Mohammed Ajlouni and welcome. Today, we're going to take a really close look at a term we hear all the time, human resources. It's so baked into the way we talk about business that we barely even think about it. But I believe it's built on an idea that's not just flawed, but actually pretty dehumanizing. So that leads us to a big question. Are people really resources?
So here's our game plan. First, we'll get right to the heart of the problem with the word resources. Then we're going to see how our words literally build the world around us, especially at work. I'll walk you through a classic operations management model to show you where the logic of this old way of thinking just completely falls apart. And that leads to the critical point. People aren't inputs. From there, we'll talk about what it takes to really shift our mindset and finally land on a new, more powerful way to see people as the architects of the entire system.
All right, first things first. Let's talk about this label that has become so normal, we don't even question it anymore.
This quote absolutely nails it. For decades, we've built entire departments, job titles, whole careers around a name that basically frames people as a commodity. Something to be used up, managed, and accounted for just like any other raw material. It's high time we took a step back and really challenged that. My answer to this, from both a personal and a professional view, is a hard no. And just think about it for yourself. Do you want to be viewed as a unit of utilization, as a cost center to be minimized? Of course not. Nobody does. But that's the subtle subconscious trap of the word resources. It automatically puts people into a column on a spreadsheet. Now you might be thinking, come on, it's just a word, but it's so much more than that. The language we choose isn't just descriptive, it's creative. It actively shapes our perception, and that perception dictates our reality at work.
Some companies try to soften the blow with terms like human assets, but that might actually be worse. See, an asset, like a piece of machinery or a computer, literally loses value over time on a balance sheet. It depreciates. But people are the complete opposite. When you invest in them, when you nurture them, they appreciate. They gain skills, wisdom, and become more valuable to the organization, not less.
And this brings us to a really powerful idea, a kind of chain reaction. The words we pick, they shape how we see things, our perception. And how we see things, well, that drives how we act, our behavior. And our collective behavior, over time, that's what becomes our culture. See how it all connects? It starts with something as simple as a word.
Okay, so I don't want this to just be an emotional argument. Let's get logical about it. Let's put on our operations management hats for a second and look at the actual engine that makes any business run.
So what is operations management? At its core, it's really just the engine of a company, right? It's the system that takes in stuff, inputs, does something to it, and produces something valuable on the other end, the outputs. That's how a company makes money.
Yeah, every single business on the planet follows this basic model. You've got your inputs, like raw materials or information. Then you have the transformation process, like a factory or a coding team. And finally, you have the outputs, the finished product or the working software that customers want. Simple enough, right?
And this is where we get it so wrong. The traditional model just throws people into that inputs bucket, along with everything else. They're seen as just another converting resource, right there next to the buildings, the technology, and the machines. It treats a human being like just another cog in the machine.
And right there, the whole argument just falls apart. It's not just that it feels wrong or that it's dehumanizing. From a pure systems thinking perspective, it is logically incorrect. It just doesn't make sense.
So let's get to the heart of it. Let's make the critical distinction that changes everything. What really separates people from every other input in that model?
Listen to this, because this one sentence is the whole paradigm shift. People manage resources. People are not resources. They aren't a passive part of the system to be used. They are the active force that organizes, directs, and improves all the other resources.
Think about it. A building doesn't manage itself. A machine doesn't design a better way to work. A process doesn't innovate on its own. People do all of that. They are the creative, strategic, and intellectual force that designs the systems, improves the processes, and leads each other to get things done. So what this means is that every single person in the company, from the newest hire on the front line all the way up to the CEO, has a new job description. Their job isn't to be a resource. Their job is to be a manager of resources. They are the stewards of the company's tools, capital, and time, not part of the inventory themselves.
Okay, so if we accept that, if we really believe it, then we have to do something about it. So where do we go from here? This isn't just about changing a department name. It's about a deep, fundamental shift in how we think.
Real transformation always starts in the mind, and our minds are shaped by our language.
So when we talk about renaming HR, this isn't just slapping a new label on the door. It's a symbolic act. It's a declaration that says, we see people differently here. And symbols matter a lot.
And the good news is, a lot of really smart companies are already on this path. You see them using names like people in culture, people operations, or talent and leadership. These aren't just trendy new names. They signal a very real shift in philosophy, away from managing inventory and toward cultivating human potential.
All right, let's bring this all home. Let's solidify this new way of thinking. If people are not resources, then what are they? We need a new definition, a new way to talk about the people who truly are the lifeblood of our organizations.
First, they are not inputs. They're not just cogs to be plugged into a machine. They are the architects who design, build, and constantly improve the entire system of value creation.
Second, they are not assets that lose value over time. They are human capabilities. They are collections of potential, skills, and creativity that we have the privilege to invest in and develop.
And finally, they are not capital to be moved around a spreadsheet. They are leaders at every single level who need to be trusted and empowered to make decisions and guide the organization forward.
So I'll leave you with this one final question to think about. It goes way beyond what we call a department. It gets to the very core of what we believe about people. So ask yourself this: are we considering people as resources, or are we in the business of building empowered, intellectual, and motivated human capability? The answer you choose will truly define the future of your organization.